let's see here, where is... All right, we are live again. Just gonna wait a minute for YouTube to pick up this stream. Hopefully that other one is fully ended so that we don't get them kind of meshing together. I've completely forgot that I had no audio source recording, and there's like, oh, maybe my webcam audio's on. No, it's not. Which good it's not, because that thing actually sounds pretty horrible. And I think it seems like it's gotten a little bit worse than it used to be. Anyways, yeah, I'm going to wait for it to be 1 minute and then see if those people hop back on. If not, then, well, great. So we're at 39, 40 seconds left. Almost a minute. Okay. Hopefully those two people hop back on. Seems like when I stream and then I go away and then I come back, people don't hop on as readily. Anyways. Okay, it's been 1 minute. I'm going to get started. So, first of all, I found out why streaming is sometimes bad. So I was talking with a coworker. This was on Sunday. Person's really cool. He's somewhat new there, but his mom's actually been working there for a while, and then he joined on. He's like, this is the dollar store, by the way. Hey, one watching. He's around 20, maybe 30. I don't know exactly, but just based on looks, about my age. Him and his mom, they're really great people. So here's the thing. I was talking with him because he does streaming. Hey. Hi, cuties. Yes, he does streaming. So I was talking with him about setup and stuff, and I still have a few more questions that I want to ask him and stuff like that. But basically in talking, well, first of all, I thought this was a little bit funny, just his expression, because I usually find people's expressions of surprise a little bit funny. But what it was is, you know, he said, so it could be not the right bit rate. And I said, too high? And he said, yeah. And I said, I did once try a bit rate of 500, and he was like that, something like that. So, yeah. But as we got to talking, I had to look up some pictures I had of CPUZ in my computer specs. He said it's the processor, which makes sense. It's an i5 older processor. I'm not sharing my screen, so I can't do that. But yeah, it's an older processor, and that makes sense. It's like an i5 3570K, so it's not a bad processor. I've got, I think, 4 cores at like 3.5 gigahertz, and it does great for editing, but he said it's not great for streaming. My coworker said that. And that makes sense, but some questions that I have, one big question that I have for him, though, is once I was playing Survive.io, and CPU definitely wasn't being pegged, wasn't maxing out, but it was having issues. So I'm wondering, I'm going to talk to him, because I'm wondering if that was a result of just the game being online and some other things, and so that at that point CPU definitely wasn't being pegged, but the streaming was affecting something else. Or maybe it's not necessarily that the CPU is going to be pegged, but it's more of that there's other things that aren't great about it. Like maybe somewhere on there's something on the CPU dedicated to network stuff, and that's not great. Or how it handles video stuff for streaming isn't great, even if it's not maxing out CPU. Because there's some things I don't quite understand about CPUs that I also want to ask him this other question. Because I was talking on the Pinnacle Studio forums about whether CPU or graphics is better for Pinnacle Studio, and it's CPU. And from what they said, this doesn't quite make sense. I still have problems understanding it, even if I reread it. But it kind of got just slightly heated there. And I apologize if anybody from Studio watches. I didn't mean to cause arguments there. It wasn't like super bad, but it was still kind of confusing, and I wasn't getting things. But the big thing that I'm not getting is they were saying that if you have a powerful CPU, Studio is going to perform better, even if it's a case where Studio is only using 50% CPU. Because sometimes, I don't know why, but just for whatever reason, Studio just only needs to use 50% CPU. So in my mind, I would equate it to, well, you give it a more powerful CPU, and it only needed 50% of this one, so then won't it take something like maybe 45% power of the next one, because it doesn't need that much? Kind of like if you have a phone that only needs 1 amp to charge because it's somewhat older, and then you give it a 2 amp charger, it's only going to eat 1 amp. But apparently not. Hey, 3 watching. So now on to the other thing. things are going to slow down for a bit. A few reasons. Reason number one is I have finished reading what I have in my book with my parents. I was actually in the middle of looking up that number. This book was started 2016, but that seems too new. I might not even have... Let me check another file. Because I might not even have, like, when this started, unless I ask, like, maybe my mom. When... Nope, that's the folder. Please show me properties for... That's not... No. I did not make that file 2018. 2015, this one. So it was probably 2015, 2014 when I started this book. So it's been quite a while. 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18. It's been 4 years. Thought it was longer than that. Maybe it has been. But so I finished having my mom read it to me and my stepdad. They gave a little bit of feedback, suggested some slight changes that may or may not make it in. But the big point is I now remember everything about where I am and I can continue writing. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to try and wrap it up. There's still a large chunk of the book to write, but it might end up being shorter than I originally planned. Not necessarily planned, though, because I'm a bottom-up writer. So for me, usually I think of something in the middle, kind of towards the end or the end of the book, and then I work my way towards it. Or I get a really good idea, and then I build around that idea. I've actually got several notes for cool ideas that I think I might film someday, or maybe turn into a book. Because I also kind of judge my idea on, like, do I think I could execute something like that or do something like that as a film? Probably could. Okay, that's a video idea. Or, no, that one's a little bit too complicated out of my scope. Maybe a book idea for later. Because that's what I like about books, is that I can write and not have to worry about whether or not I'm going to be able to film it. But so I'm going to be working on finishing that. That's one of the slowdowns. The other slowdown is just projects that I'm going to be editing. I'm going to actually be... See if I can... it's hard to make eye contact when you're up that high. But I'm going to try and be working on different projects that I have that I need to edit. So I'm going to slow down doing the actual live streams and stuff like that. And definitely less gaming. One, it's not gaming month. But two, just more focus on actual getting editing done. I'm going to try and do a singing video this week, so I can make sure I get one of those done for the month. I'm going to try and catch a good singing day when I sound good. But yeah, I'm going to try and do that. So hopefully it's not going to slow down much. There's going to be more focus on editing and getting projects done in my editor and doing that sort of a thing. Then, yeah, so there's going to be less opening packages and stuff. There's going to be less packages coming. I mean, I'm trying to decide now, because I have like about $90, and I was kind of itching to spend it, but then I kind of wasn't. And now I'm actually really taking time to decide what I want. I want a backdrop stand, but I don't quite know where I'm going to put it right now. I mean, there's room over with my gear and stuff on my beautiful gear wall. I'd turn the camera around and show you, but the cord's funny. So I need to actually look and see if I can find a spare cord. See if I can actually find one. See if I can find a guide to replace it. Because I don't think it's too difficult, you know. But there's that. Actually, I was going to get my watch battery replaced. Because this thing dies, like, really quickly. So that's probably what I'm going to spend that on. It's going to be the watch, okay? I just forgot. It's going to be the watch. I also thought about getting a smart battery charger and maybe some better rechargeable batteries for my equipment and stuff like that. You know. The ones we have are good as far as capacity, but they don't hold their charge as long. And I think I've heard that, like, it's like Enercell or something. There's some new kind of battery made by Panasonic or somebody that is a rechargeable, but it holds the charge more like a standard alkaline battery does. So, supposedly, because with our batteries, like, they really don't. And looking up stuff online was confusing, and I don't know why. Maybe I'm reading the numbers wrong. But with ours, it's not like charge it up, put it in a box, and then wait till the TV remote dies. Because by then, it's also drained its juice. It's more like charge it up as you need it, if you're, like, regularly using stuff. So, I don't know why. Maybe they hold charge better inside of devices, because I don't have to charge my I don't have to replace the keyboard and wireless mouse battery that often. Stream out is low. That's kind of sad. Although, OBS says it's good. Anyways, so there's going to be less of that, a little bit more of getting content edited and uploaded, because I do have a bunch of content that I do need to do in that regard. But then there's also so many things new that I want to do. But I'm sure you guys will be fine if things slow down a bit on your end, but I actually get out some nice content edited and stuff like that. I think that'll be good. So I'm looking forward to that. There's also a few other like scripts and some music lyrics that I've started writing that I want to finish as well that won't take too long to finish writing-wise. And then the script, though, it's getting too cold to film it, but maybe spring. There's something I could do spring that's a script. Not quite short film length, but it would be a short type video with a couple of actors in it. Grab a few of my friends. Because also in that regard, too, future projects going forward, I just want to pay people. So it's going to be like, okay, I've got a film idea, film script here. Let's save up money at the dollar store from whatever job I have at the time. Get money somehow, fundraisers maybe, and then pay people to do it. Because that will be a lot easier if I say, hey, I've got a project, it's paid. That instantly gives you way more credibility, you know. It's kind of a joke amongst Utah filmmakers and actors that IMDb credit and free food/water doesn't help. I forget what, but someone once said you want, like, credit for certain positions, but other positions kind of doesn't make it look good if you're just labeled as random stuff. Because it doesn't. And also somebody kind of paid money to get you on there. And you want to be listed as, like, good stuff on there, you know. So that kind of makes sense. I forget how they said it. But then also the snacks and food and water thing. It's good to have those, but don't make that your main selling point. And honestly, I just had a thought come into mind. It's like, I could go get myself some own food and spend way less time than if I helped you on your film, you know. But I really liked it. Some people were kind of hard when I was doing some posting for Airborne Death on there. I did get some people for one post, but then another post for like camera and stuff. A lot of people were like, no way would I work for free. But one guy said, you know, hey, let's not be... This isn't exactly a direct quote, but he basically said, hey, let's not be angry or whatever, you know. I almost considered helping the guy because I've been in that position too, starting out. And a few people apologized. One guy even offered use of his studio, which I am going to take him up on some point. I'm be like, hey, so I've got like a small project. I'd like to take your offer to use the studio. It won't take much of your time. I recognize that things cost money and whatnot, and I totally get it, especially after being like on Utah filmmakers and actors and stuff. So from this point on, I pretty much just want to be able to pay people. People that I would consider not paying, like if somebody said, oh, dude, I'll help you out because I know you're starting up, great, sure. Or friends. Friends are people where they're a little more likely to not necessarily want to require pay or whatever, you know. So that's one thing. I would want to pay them too, but if I was looking for more positions, non-paid, I'd look to friends and stuff like that. And hopefully I'll make a lot of good friends in, like, the film community and get pretty close. And so I'll have good film friends where I can say, hey, do you want to help or would you help, you know? But I do definitely want to pay people in the future. But for now, things are going to be slowing down, and I'm going to be focusing more on getting some projects edited. I actually have a project back from July, and the reason I put that off is because it's really boring just going through and deciding what I can absolutely cut out from my talking. Because I do quite a bit of talking, and a lot of stuff that I say I want to leave in. But then at the same time, too, like when people cut out them talking sometimes, it bothers me, and I like it. And it's like, there was one time where I don't think this was Linus's decision, but I was watching a Linus Tech Tips video, and he was like, you know, the story about how we got this is pretty interesting. And then all of a sudden, whoever edited the video, like, sped it up and had text that said, it's not really, and just went sped it up, and I'm thinking, no, I wanted to hear what he said. Seriously. I want to. There are some times where I run into people talking and it is kind of sort of boring. And I don't necessarily like to listen back to what I've said, you know. Focus on doing new stuff. But yes, so hopefully it won't actually slow down, and there will be some great content coming out. I've got like one video from Clock Month that I'm super, super excited. Can't tell you what, but when it comes out, it's going to be cool. It's going to be great. I'm going to love it. And yeah, and that's also a case where it's kind of long. I'm going to have to go through and do some of the meticulous, less fun, finding out where I can cut and speed stuff up. But I'm not going to focus on doing a lot of cutting and stuff. It's going to be... I'm choosing to leave it the more raw, less great, you know, just me talking. Even though I am trending away from that, working on more like scripted stuff like that. And there's some things where I just need to write the script for it, and then I can set about filming it. But I'm gonna try and get some stuff written down. And I'm also gonna try and get the singing thing going. Not singing, but like songs and stuff. If you're not familiar, so here's what I've decided to do. Because I had some songs that I have the tune in my head and the lyrics, and I've sung a voice recording somewhere. Those will be uploaded at some point, by the way. But I can never get those tunes out of my head, except very rare incidences where I have like the cooking show theme or the food theme. I actually original compositions, and they happen to be similar enough that I can figure it out. And I do kind of at some point want to, I don't know, use an app on my phone or take music lessons, not paid probably, and get a little bit better at music so where I can write some of my tunes down. But what I've decided to do, because I have a lot of lyrics that I like, and they could just be a poem, but I'm like, I want music with it. So what I'm planning on doing is getting some friends together that I know do music stuff in all of a group, and saying, basically what it's going to be like is, hey, here's some new lyrics, and then they have the choice to either someone claim it, or they all somehow work together on one tune or something. But the point is that kind of in their free time, they work on it and turn it into a song with a tune that somebody can sing. And then either I or I'll grab somebody else or one of them, and we'll sing it and turn it into an actual song. And I think that's going to be really fun and cool. And yeah, and it's going to be kind of an in their free time. Like, I still will remind people, and I still will want you to do something, you know. But it's going to be, I know everybody's busy, kind of a side project. And actually, I'm going to announce the name of the project here, and then it will be proper announcement video later once I get things off the ground. But if you go check out SoundCloud and look up Cable Tie 88, that's C-A-B-L-E, oops. Let me put up my SoundCloud here. Make sure I get it right. And actually, I'm just going to copy a link to it. And then I'll post it in the chat so that you guys can see it. Let's go to my profile. And the name is still different, though, like for as far as finding it. I wish I could change my URL, but I might not be able to. But it's Cable Tie 88. So, paste that right there. There's a link to my SoundCloud. I've got a few things from old songs and whatnot on there. The other thing, too, is whenever I fill up space on SoundCloud, if that ever happens, then I'll decide what to do from there. Do I pay for SoundCloud, let it drain money from my pocket, or do I look for some other service to put music on as well? I could probably also have something where, like, eventually I move stuff off of SoundCloud and put new stuff on there, new releases, and then the old stuff gets moved to the other service or something. I don't know. That's a ways away. Yeah. Kind of wish I could. I'll have to look into see if I can change the URL, because it would be nice if it said Cable Tie 88 instead of Caleb Rogers and then some numbers, because it used to. I think it used to say Cool Shows 101, like music or something, but I kind of use that quite a bit. Like, if you go check out freesound.org, you can find Cool Shows 101 sounds. I've actually got some more sounds I need to upload there, including the thud sound when Genevieve dies from airborne death. So, that's pretty much plans and stuff. Expect great content coming out, but also a slowage of being active and stuff online, you know. And I might even live stream some of the editing and stuff like that. Because then, you know, you guys get to see that. Or if I don't stream it, you know, like show you actually what I'm editing, I would just be like there so you guys can talk to me, kind of a thing. But that's kind of sort of plans. That's things in the works. I will see you guys in whatever is next. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. We'll see you guys. Well, leave a like, get subscribed. See you guys later.